Morning all. Morning Roy. Morning Georgina. Morning Russell. Morning Peter. Morning Michael. Morning. Oh, it's a one-man operation again this morning. Morning Chris. You're all coming from a land down under. Morning Pete. So, we haven't got any snow down here yet, but we're supposed to get it tomorrow. Heavy snow forecast. 8 inches. We'll be able to make a snowman. That'd be good. So everybody had a good week, a couple of weeks. It was 2 weeks ago, wasn't it? I did one of these. Yeah, 2 weeks ago. I'm searching for pencils and stuff. You know, as you do. Found one pencil in my pocket in case we need it. Evening, Bob. Yeah. Morning, Keith. Oh, we got 10 minutes before we hit live. Well, we are live, but you know, hit demo live. This is morning chatty live. Morning, Philip. Morning, Barry. Morning, Frank. Morning, John. Morning, Dunk. Morning, Trevor. Oh, we got the lesser spotted Mrs. Oliver's appeared. Passing me an iPad.
And a cup of coffee.
And a cup of coffee. Oh, bonus. No bacon sandwich though. Right? Hey, no bacon sandwich. Been alright for the bacon sandwich. Morning, Trevor. Morning, Clive. Morning, Doug. Barry. Hans. Might be repeating people twice. I look up and all of a sudden the screen's gone do. Morning, Clive. Morning, Mr. Carroll. How the devil is one? Alright. I've got to look down because Karen's passed me an iPad. Dangerous thing, passing me an iPad. You don't want to work the iPad. Hold on, let me come here, push that one, go there, there we go, Mrs. Oliver's all set up, that'll keep her happy. She's come to keep an eye on me with the cameras, you see. Morning Nick, morning Andy, morning Steve. If that's aimed at me, Pat, I'm all good. Yeah. Bit tired. Knocked myself out yesterday. Had 7 pallet loads of timber turn up. And nowhere to put it. So, move this full truck there, stack that there, do that, all that sort of stuff. Now I've got the pleasure of cutting it all up. Morning, Four Kings. Morning, Anne. Morning, Nigel. Morning, anybody I've missed. The old with the chat. Got me pencil. Got me safety glasses. Got me turning tools. Oh, well, turning tools, can't see that. Got me turning tools. Got some paint. Morning, Elena. Got a paper towel. Got a couple of implements. Yeah, I've got most things by the looks of things. Just got to plug something in. Oh. It down there. Nearly forgot to plug that in. That would have delayed things. There we go. That's plugged in. Hot melt glue gun. Morning, James. Let me just scan back. Make sure. I'm trying to catch up with everybody. I think I've got everybody. Morning, Colin. Morning Barry. Morning Mole Maker. Morning David. Hope you're enjoying your lathe. So, 5 minutes before we start. 5 minutes. 5 minutes and counting. Morning Martin. Morning Paul. 5 minutes and counting before we get kicked off. I might get kicked off of YouTube. I won't. Don't use bad language on YouTube. Well, I might. Morning Trevor. Morning Vicky. Got me coffee now. Good stuff, David. A good bit of kit. Who's gold leafing? Pete, you've been gold leafing. I haven't done that in a demo, have I? Might have to do that sometime. Morning Andy. Clive, Millipat and thread chasing. Are you thread chasing the Millipat itself or just the wood with Millipat insert? Morning Lawrence. Morning Beach Bum. Watch out everybody, Mike Walt's in the house. All goes horribly wrong from here. Morning Mike, how are you? Hi Ian. Now everybody's got to be nice to Mr. Walt this morning. No taking the mickey out of him. Millipat directly. I assume that cut's alright. Morning Alan. Morning Robert. Morning Paul Smith. Well, Adrian, hold a cowboy out. Yeah, I should have done that, shouldn't I? Forgot all about that. Question, don't tell Glenn I'm asking this. Does anybody use Yandle's abrasive paste? Very hard, waxy rubbish. I'm going to stick to Yorkshire grit. Oh, I wouldn't have put that in the chat. Glenn, I'll disown you as a friend. That'll be your lot. Like that. Morning, Neil. Rob. Yeah, thread chasing just takes a bit of practice. Light, timely cuts. I'm no expert. Chased a few threads. Not my thing, really. Well, Alf. Morning, Patrick. Right, we're due to start. I best put me coffee down and get me act together, huh? It's a bit hot now anyway. I'll sort of duck off camera and get it in between times. Morning Fred. You alright, mate? Morning Wivey. Right. Morning Patrick. Morning. Right, let's start properly. Morning all. Morning anybody I've missed mentioning names. The chat do. So you sort of look up, look down and sideways, backwards and any other way you can. Morning Roy. So, morning Paul. What we're going to do, we're going to do a bit of over-spalted beech. Now, this over-spalted bit of beech is about 16 inches in diameter. You can see I put a hole in it some time ago. So it's not going to take a screw chuck, it's all flaked away. So, It's powdery in places. So what I've done to give me a head start is I've put in some thin super glue in a couple of areas. So we got to mount this on the lathe. Now, because the integrity of the wood is not that great, it's more of a challenge, can you turn it, rather than it's a thing of real beauty. Although it's got some really nice markings in it. But to give you a clue, this bit of beech is 16 inches, 17 inches in diameter. This is a proper 12-inch beech plank, and it weighs twice as much as that piece of wood there. This piece of wood has got some density to it. It's not like a piece of cardboard, but it's not as heavy as a 12-inch plank because it's decayed, and that's what happens with spalted beech. This is a solid bit of spalted beech, 12-inch plank, same size as this one, but it weighs about, I don't know, 75% of the weight of a solid piece of beech. So the spalting decays the wood. So this piece came from a mate of mine who makes tables, and he had an offcut, and he gave me this bit, so I cut the biggest blank I could out of it, do something with, about 5 years ago. It's sat in the workshop ever since. I've been kicking it around, so I thought, well, I'll get rid of it. I'll put it on the lathe. So we've got to mount this bit of beech. Let's come to an overhead camera. Now, for some reason, the hole that I've driven it ain't centre. I don't know why I did that, but I did. So what I've got is me centre finder, which with the light reflecting off it, you can't really see. So, but that's life, as they say. Not as we know it, Jim. So I'm going to get this centre finder roughly central to this bit of beech. And then I'm going to put a mark where my centre is, just there. Now, there's my centre mark just there. You can see how far that hole is off. So how would we mount this? Well, if we use a screw chuck, it's a big blank for a screw chuck anyway, we already know that it's not going to hold properly because this wood's not very good. So what I would do normally is use a faceplate. But I can't use a faceplate because my faceplate is quite thin, 1/4 inch, something like that, and I haven't got any short stubby screws. I looked and I haven't, so we can get around that problem. We've made a wooden faceplate, drill some holes in it, and then I'll put a recess in there to mount it on the chuck. Now, because I don't know how strong the screws are going to hold into this blank, I'm not going to rely on screws alone. So what I turned on earlier, looks like it's about ready, is me good old, oh, don't do that for a minute, I want to be able to centralise this. So, sorry, I jumped myself there. What I want is to get this compass on centre with that, give myself a guide, put this here, and I'm just going to draw be alright if I lock the compass down, wouldn't it? Let's try again. There, lock the compass down, put that on there, and then let's draw a line round so I can see where the outside of this blank is going to sit, like so. Now, it's not an exact science, we are going to turn it round, but it'd be better that it's centre-ish rather than over here, because we lose all of that. So we're going to go in about there. So, for added security, we're going to put on some hot melt glue. On the blank. Hot melt glue's good centrifugally, but it just prizes off, so that'll be that. We line that up with that pencil line, somewhere around there. Yeah, press down, and that'll hold. Now my screws that I've got will go through this wooden faceplate and into the wood by about 1 inch. I didn't want to go into the wood more than 1 inch really, because A, I don't know what we're going to deal with when we get inside here, and B, I want, if it works, the idea is we're going to do a nice sort of dishy platter type thing with a band and a bit of colour and stuff, so that's the plan. Bit dangerous telling you plan before I start, isn't it? In case it all goes wrong. But that's the plan. So we're now going to screw up. I bet I've got the wrong size. I just looked at that. I've got the wrong size bit in me drill for them screws. Nothing like being organised in the morning. That's the right one. Just pick the wrong one out. They stick in the handle, so. And we'll just drive these through for a bit of added security. I'll put several holes in, because the more screws the merrier. That one went in really easy, so that's not holding into anything. Not going to over tighten them and strip them out. It's just a bit of added security to the hot melt glue. There. So now, hopefully, we're all stuck up and we should be alright. So we'll now mount this onto the chuck and expand the chuck out. It's not going to be perfectly flat here because of the hot melt glue, but hey, if we expand that chuck out, we'll true it up and then we'll do an outside shape, and then depending on how strong this wood is here, my plan is to put a socket in there. But if the wood's a bit weak, what I do is put a big recess in and turn this block down a bit, and we'll get round it like that. No, you can see that in a minute because that's what I'm going to use. We're not round because it's going clonk clonk. Right, so we're there. Now for added security, because our wood might not be as strong as it could be, I'm just going to bring up a centre. Oh, I've got proper live centre there. I was using some sort of ring centre. I'd sooner use a live centre. There. I'm just going to bring this up just so it's trapped between centres as well. Okay, so she's trapped between centres. It's all locked down. Tool rest is locked down. This is locked down. I'm locked down. Everybody's locked down at the moment, aren't they? Yeah. What's happened? We're locked down. Well, me wood's locked down as well. So, turn my speed down. Push my green button. And then slowly advance the speed.
Mike said he can't see the tool rest.
You can't see the tool rest. Okay. Yeah, that's a point. Hold on. Let's stop that. Zoom it out, zoom it in, zoom it, zoom it, zoom it. Configure video. Camera control. Let's zoom it out a bit. A bit more than that. Note to self, use a smaller blank. There we go. There we are. Tool rest. There's the tool rest. Right, for safety, I'm just wearing safety glasses. You'd normally use your face shield, but I find in demos like this, face shield on, mic's muffled, and not mic waltz muffled. That'd be quite a good thing actually, mic walk muffled. Can you imagine that? Right, so someone wanted to see a flute of a Hamlet bowl gouge. So that's the flute. Colin, that's a Hamlet. This is their master flute, long grind, or a bit longer than a fingernail grind. And this one is the Glenn Lucas, also made by Hamlet, but I've ground them to my grind, which is sort of, I don't know, 3/4 of an inch long, something like that. I could make them longer, but it works for me. So there we go. Now, I quite like these because of the shape of the handle. It quite suits me. So my new favourite sort of tool. Morning, Mr. Clark. Just got up. Right. So back, you can see the tool rest. We've glued it on. We're ready to go. We've turned it by hand. So we just turn this up. And we turn the speed up a little bit. We're going to go too mad here. We're about 500 RPM, 600 RPM, something like that. Tool in this side. Just approach the wood. And glide the tool along the tool rest. That is the glue. I'm just moving the tool at the speed the wood's coming over the cutting edge. There, one more. Note to self. Next demo, do a proper bit of wood where you get shavings. Cardboard and beech, spalted beech like this, you just get dust. Look, dust. Horrible. Not like proper shavings. Right, we're nearly round. We've got some nice wormholes in here. We've got really rough old grain here. This is the stuff that just, you can just scrape it away. Now, I'm only turning it around to balance it up to give us a bit of a chance, because we're going to have dense areas, light areas. It's never going to be truly balanced because it won't be balanced in weight. But for the purpose of this, we'll just sharpen it up and just tool in, come the other way. Something clicked out there. Made me step back. Not forcing the cut, just light cuts, let it glide along. I think that's us round. There's going to be a problem area here that's really light and fluffy. It's quite solid there, a bit rubbishy there. Right, so what we'll do now is get a bit of shape into it. I'm just going to move tool rest round, start getting a bit of shape into the bowl blank. Make sure that spins by hand. So we'll start by just taking this corner down, chamfer that off. Just bring the cut round, twisting my hip round as I go. My right hip is twisting in towards the lathe. Put that down. Don't adjust the tool rest with the lathe spinning with a tool in your hand. Note to self. Right. We get a little bit more speed in there. Don't want this coming off the lathe really. Might hurt. Now I forgot to mention what you should do when you're turning spalted wood, because it's a fungus, is wear a face mask. Okay, lung protection is important, so wear a face mask. But again, because I'm talking and you're listening, and I've got to make sure I was doing that. It's not a lot of bottles, so. I keep stopping the lathe to make sure we're getting quite a good cut off of that, so that's not too sad, so that's all right. Okay, so move the tool rest round, give myself a bit of support. I'll take that way this time, and then we'll come in again. Now I can just rub the back of the bevel and take no cut, lean the handle towards the lathe, pick up the cut. Then as I come round the curve, I twist in and raise my handle a bit. Something like that. Don't turn cardboard and spalted beech that's past its sell-by date in demos. You get mad for the dust. Right, so we're getting a bit of torn grain just here. Bit of worm there. Wonder if he's dead or if he's still in there. Find out in a bit. But a bit of torn grain just there. This ain't too bad. So we're going to take a few more roughing cuts to get our shaping, and then we'll start dealing with this torn grain stuff. I'll try a cut the other way, see if I can do a real fine cut to do it. I don't think I will, because I could scrape this away with my fingernail. So we'll come up with a couple of plans to sort that out. Just want to get the shape round a bit more. You saw I lost me cut just now because all I was trying to do is knock the corner down. I want this curve to flow. I'm going to bring this in a bit in a minute. This is going to be our foot. But I'm just trying to get my rough shape out and get the torn grain out of the way, and then we'll see if we can tidy up the grain with a sharp tool. That's me, the sharp tool. We're going to try and just bring it round. So we just finish this bit of shaping, and then we'll try a fresh gouge with just one really fine cut to see if we can cut this clean. I don't think we will be able to, so then we'll get into, it's getting worse here now, but they were heavier cuts, and we are turning relatively slowly. There's vibration there, it don't like that. That was trying to go up 700, so, and the way it vibrated, bringing my foot into about there. Got to adjust that tool rest again a little bit. I'll put my tool down, that's better, to adjust the tool rest with the lathe moving. Now you can do that, but don't do it if you're not confident. Now I'm just trying to do a finer cut here. Not too fine. Right, so it's a bit high just here. Should we try the old double camera? See what you can see there. No. Right, so we're a bit high just here. You can see that more on the top than you can the side. And we're getting our shape. So I'm just going to tidy up one more time this shape, and then we'll deal with the wood. Every time I look at it, I think that ain't quite right. Just roll my wrist over there into the foot. That's better. Now it flows round. Okay, so our softer bits of grain, well, it's not cut to, it's just here. That's the bit I was looking for. So how do we deal with that? So two ways. You can either paint it with sanding sealer, or if it's really porous, thin CA glue. So we're going to try the sanding sealer trick on this. While I'm walking to get the sanding sealer that I didn't get out this morning, I'm going to take a mouthful of my coffee, because that's still warm. In a minute it will be useless because it will be stone cold. Now, because I'm a bit of a numpty at times, I didn't have any sanding sealer out. Ready. Oh, let's just grab another one. Find it. Hold on. Oh, boxes all over the place. Where's that gone? Ah, there. Right. Back with you. Don't panic. So, this is a normal chestnut cellulose sanding sealer. Now, I wouldn't use this on this, trying to secure it. It's thick. So what you need to do is thin it. 50-50, something like that. And this is a pre-thin one. Yeah. This is a Liberon one. Pre-thinned, but when this runs out, I'll just use the cellulose with some cellulose thinners. I've got a bit of cellulose thinners. When I started, I thought, oh, I'm going to use loads of that. I'll get a 5-gallon drum. Landed up buying 2 5-gallon drums. I think they'll still be here long after I've passed away. You don't use that much of it. The trouble is, there we go. Let's get this off of here. Come on, off you come. Now, if you were sensible, what you would do is when you finish with it, you wipe the lid off so it don't glue together. As we all know, I'm not very sensible. Everything's a bit of a mess. Yeah, it's got a little lid here. Put that up somewhere safe where I can't knock it over for a second. Now with a paintbrush, I'm just going to paint this into here. And it sucks straight into the wood. The reason you use it thin is so it sinks in, because sanding sealer doesn't go in that deep. So the thinner it is, the deeper it goes. And if the grain was really ripped out, that's when I would use the thin CA, really thin, to get it into the wood. Now, if you've got the most beautiful piece of spalted wood in the world, but it weighs virtually nothing, but you want to turn it, one of the tricks you can do is you can submerge it in a bowl bucket of 50-50 mix or slightly thinner sanding sealer, put a weight on it, hold it down, leave it in there overnight, and then take it out and just leave it to dry out. So you try and impregnate it with sanding sealer as deep as you can, and then that will glue the fibres together. Then you're in with a chance of turning it. Now normally, once a piece of wood gets beyond its sell-by date, i.e. it is so spalted and decayed that it's not worth turning, the best idea is chuck it on the fire. Why waste your life? But we like to challenge ourselves, don't we? So see if you can get something out of something that everybody else would throw away. Never earn any money out of it like that, because it takes you twice as long to turn your bowl. But so we've soaked that with a sanding sealer in the riskier areas, and normally you would let it dry, obviously. Don't tell Karen, but I've got her hairdryer again. I'm just going to put a bit of heat on it to try and dry it out a bit quicker. The sanding sealer is just acting as a glue for these weak fibres. I can feel with my fingertips it's still tacky. So when I feel that it's not tacky, that'll be dry enough for us to have a go at it and see what happens. That little area just there, that's our real problem area. Right, so the other thing you've got to bear in mind is we've got to get as good a finish off the tool as we can. Because if we start having to sand this a lot, all this soft area will the sandpaper will take more away from there than the hard areas. So we've got to get it off the tool. So all I'm going to do now is swap bowl gouges to a freshly sharpened gouge to give it its best chance. And if you haven't got spare bowl gouges, then the thing to do is this is where you go and sharpen your tool. Even if you've only just sharpened it, sharpen it again. Get the best edge on your tool that you can get. So with this now, I'm just a very light cut. We're just going to lose the cut there. Let's have a look. That sorted it out. Our torn grain has gone, so that's fine. If you find you tear the grain that way, because technically I'm turning the wrong way according to the books, going that way, I should be coming this way so I get the fibres are longer here, so I get supported fibres. But as anybody that's watched my demos in the past, I don't particularly hold with that theory. Some woods, you've got to cut in one way or t'other. If your touch is light enough, you should be able to cut the wood in either direction. Should. So I just adjusted that. I just got a little line here that I want to get rid of and bring it into here. Don't forget, my lathe's spinning much slower than I would normally spin it at. So I just got to move that bit slower. It's all about the speed of the tool. Allowing the wood to come over the cutting edge and actually cut. Just going to pick this up here. Very light lift of the handle. Keep lifting the handle as I'm going into the centre. Roll over into what will be the foot. Go. Now, wrong with that. Well, some people might not like the shape. But that's personal taste. I'm quite happy with it. So I'm going to bring this around and now start working on this area at the bottom, which will be the foot and obviously our mounting. It's not particularly flat at the moment. Now I've worked doing the shape before I do the mounting and the foot and everything, because I wanted to see what the wood was like and see if we could cut it and all the rest of it. Had it have been pure powder in here, then maybe the project would have been over. But I had a backup plan, or have a backup plan. So now let's just come in, level off what would be the foot. As I go into the centre, I'm just raising the handle so I keep cutting on centre or thereabout. I can stop there because that bit's coming out. We're going to put a recess in. Raise the angles that come through here. Right, let's have a look at that. I want to see that we're flat here, and we're flat. No, we're not. I've got a little bump there, so let's get rid of that. I really do need to wear glasses. That should do it. Let's check that. That's it. Nice and flat. Right, there's flat there. So, we've got a little bit of torn grain on where the foot's going to be. So I'm going to tidy that up now. A bit more of me sanding sealer that I'll put in a safe place. Now, normally my preferred way with a bowl is to have a spigot or tenon, as you want to call it. I call it a spigot. I don't know why I call it a spigot, but that's what I do, but tenon. But I wouldn't use that on a piece of wood like this, because I'm holding on the weights on there and this is weak. The chances are the tenon spigot will be in the jaws as the bowl goes flying through the air, because the timbers are weak, could easily just snap off and disappear. So we don't want that. Some people, phone in the shop when I'm doing a demo. So Karen's gone to answer the phone. Obviously someone we know, because it's, hi, how you doing? There we go. So we're going to paint this in here. There. So that's painted on there. Now we just dry that off. I'm going to have to do housework later and clean my workshop up. It's all clean and tidy. Now it's covered in dust. So let's just speed the process up with that. Turn the speed down. Hold that on there. You can't say it's paint drying, can you? Like watching paint drying. It's like watching thin down cellulose sanding sealer drying. We get this dried off a bit. Fine cut through. Tidy up that grain. There we go. Stop that there. Drop that down there. That's good enough for a cut. So then we'll just try and get a fine cut into there. And now, practice what I preach. I'm just going to sharpen the tool quickly. So it's a fresh cutting edge. So it's slicing through that bit of fibre. Quick. One way or another. There we go. Right in either direction. Nice sharp edge. Turn the speed up a little bit. Because we're going to get about 600 RPM and try and do a real fine cut in here. Right, raise the handle as we go. Very fine cut. Not worried about that bit, that's coming out. Someone's doing it at it again. Nice. Nice, nice, baby. Give me nice, nice, baby. Right, that's sorted out that bit of torn grain. So far, so good. Now, we've got to cut a socket, a recess in there. Jaws on the chuck that I'm using are 50mm. I could do a bigger recess, get another chuck with a bigger set of jaws in. But 50mm on this should be enough. I'm quite comfortable with 50. So I'm going to go 50, 52, something like that. Now, I'm just going to reach over. Now you can see this, so don't do this if you're not comfortable, but as per normal, this is my preferred way. I put the left hand point into the wood, hold the right hand point back, and the line I scribe with the left hand point I want to be parallel with the right hand point. So if I come around here, I can't get out of the way enough on the back camera. So, there, give it a push. There, and then that line started there, married up with that, and I know where I'm putting my socket. So we'll stop this, remove the tailstock out of our way, and get rid of the dreaded elbow stabber. Get that out of the way. I'm going to bring me tool rest along here a bit. Now I've got to cut this out, so I'm going to raise my tool rest so I'm on centre. Now, I'd normally just get a skew and push this in, but because the fibres might be really weak in there, I'm in danger of tearing them. So I've got a little detailed spindle gouge somewhere over here. So if we come up to this camera, you should just be able to see that. It's a little quarter spindle gouge even, that's been ground to 25 degrees. So it goes right down to a fine tip at the end. Let's see if you can sort of see that there. Can you got that? Right. So I'm going to use that to cut the wood rather than use my skewer as a scraper. Turn the speed up. I'm just going to come in here with the tip, and then as I get the cut, raise my handle, scribe a line. And now I'll just take some of this material away here. Wary of my hand over the side of the tool rest, because my hand's the wrong side of the tool rest. Rule of thumb is, don't put your hand over the wood side of the tool rest. Keep it this side of the tool rest. But so I should be like that really, but I should show you properly really, rather than my shortcut ways, the way I feel comfortable when I'm just turning in the shop for me. So I'm just getting that middle out. I want to go down. Normally I'd only go down. I'd normally only go down 3 or 4 mil, but what I'm going to do on this piece is go down a bit deeper to give us a bit more wood to hold on to. So I'm aiming to come down probably about 6 mil, about the depth of the foot or just over. So what I'm going to do now, if I stop this, because I'm going to block you out really, I'm going to rub the back of the bevel here on the inside and turn outwards into the line to make the recess. And I want to make the line, put that down, chamfered in the inside like that. Okay, that's the plan. I hate telling people I've got a plan. It goes wrong. Out to the line. There. I just want to tidy that shaving up there. Get that in there. Now I'm just going to come in at an angle, rub my tip on the back of that line and push in. So what I'm doing is going in at an angle, you can see on the overhead, and that will give me my undercut recess tenon type shape. And now I just lean over and clean this out. There. Now the most crucial thing here is that it's clean in there, so I've got no bits of sawdust or that, so when the jaws it opens up evenly. And now I can take down this middle bit. I want it flat on just on the inside about there for that 1/4 inch or so the jaws sit flat. Now this bit will sit inside the chuck, so I could curve that or make it flat, whatever I want, because I can reverse turn this again later and tidy this up so it doesn't look like a socket. I could open it out to here and just have a sort of an inch wide foot in it. Do whatever you like, really.
Using the spindle gouge rather than a parting saw or skew.
Why? I was taught to cut all my spigots by old Tom Pockley that taught me to turn, the master turner, and his way was to use a detailed spindle gouge with sharp wings, and it cuts the fibres, it slices the fibres so you don't get the torn grain. When you go in with a parting tool, you're sort of scraping the fibres away, and we're dealing with a very fragile timber here, the Spalted Beech. So my preferred way is to use the skew, like a scraper, go in, negative rate scraper, and cut on my things. But when I'm dealing with timber like this, that it's weak, then it's better to slice it, cut it. And so I use the detail gouge because it slices and cuts. And that's my way I was shown, my preferred way. I was taught to cut my spigots like this. So you go in, sort of score a line, go in at the angle, and then you come along and get a perfectly flat face. It's time consuming, but you get a lovely finish off of it. And poor old Tom, bless him, he's 77, 78. Not in lockdown, obviously, but before the times of our new way of life, lockdown. He used to pop over sometimes. And if I was at the workshop and he walked in at the right time, I'd just grab me skew and start cutting me spigot, saying, God, this isn't half quick this way, Tom, just to wind him up. He would tut. I go, not what I showed you. So I'm just coming in here, just flattening this off. I just pick up the cut on the back of the bevel, bring the handle towards me, grab the cut, I'm making like a bit of an OG here. There. So now I've got spin this round. Wobbling a bit because I'm normally over the lathe completely, and I'm trying to. There's a compromise when you do this video type stuff to what you can see on the camera or block you out completely. I'm just going to drop that tool rest just a little bit. I've got a nice square shoulder here, but I just want to blend this bottom bit into it. You can see it's a bit of messing around like this, in my opinion. Oh, that don't help. I'm thinking my handle's not lifting. It's catching on the dust extractor hood. I was fighting with my handle. I was thinking, what's going on there then? Just peel this away. We'll come back that way. There. Now what I could do is put in just a bit of decoration if I didn't want to come back to tidying this up. So I can put in a bit of decoration in there. To the edge there. Just rolling my wrist there. Right, so I'm putting a little bit of decoration. I can see a little bit of fluffy grain in there. See if I can get that. There. So with the point, I can get right in, a bit like a skew really. I can put a couple of rings in there as a bit of decoration. So if I don't want to come back to this, it looks like if someone turns it over, their eyes drawn to the decoration rather than there's a bit of a recess there. So there's another little way of tidying up your bowl. So now we've got our bowl. So under normal circumstances, what I do is give this a very light sanding, but I'd be starting at 240 grit or something. Maybe we'll do that just quickly. I don't want to be sanding for ages, but then I could put a finish on the outside so we get a semi-finished product. I'll just put the extractor there, grab a bit of 240 grit. I'm not going to go mad here with sanding. But I'll whop the extractor on. Whop there. Bit of 240 there. Deep sanding it. Right, so I've got the extractor on. It'd be handy if I open the glass gate. So it's getting to where it wants to be. Now, shut that one down. We've got glass gates everywhere. So, we're just going to light sand with 240. We're not going to be here forever sanding. So just... Now I'm using a big head on the sander to spread the area that it's sanding rather than use a small head and let it dig into a soft area. That looks alright. Now, because we've used the sanding sealer, it's clogging up the sandpaper. You don't have to throw that away. If you've got a little brass brush, you can brush that out of the grit. Obviously you're killing the sandpaper a bit here, but you get a few more uses out of it rather than just throw it away. I shouldn't be saying that really, should I? I should be saying just throw it away. Use another bit, then come back and buy some more. But that's it. There, we'll sand that foot there. There. That's our outside done, that'll do. Now, what I'm going to do, what I would do normally, so I'll do it here quickly. That's why I sanded really. I thought I'll show you this bit. what I do now is give this a quick coat of sanding sealer. Thanks very much, Mike. Very kind of you. I like nicking Mrs. Oliver's hairdryer though. It's more fun. Because when we come off of there, she goes to me, "Don't tell everybody that's my hairdryer. It's not my hairdryer." Don't talk like that, really. I just made that up. I don't know whose hairdryer it was really. Nicked it. There we go. Now, I sanding seal this because what I'll do is we're going to burnish it in a minute with a handful of, I was going to say shavings, but it's more like sawdust. And then this would just get a wax coat over the top. Get it up to there. I don't want to get it inside the hole at the moment. I'll sort that bit out later. What type of sandpaper? Doesn't matter, whatever your preference is. I use the Hope sanding system, so that's a Indesa disc, Velcro backed Indesa disc. Why do I use that? Because I think that the sanding system is one of the better systems, or one of the best systems in the marketplace. You can have different sides of heads in it. So if you want to go in and do inside of hollow forms, you can have it a long rod, all this sort of stuff. So that's my preferred sanding system. And the other reason I use it is because I keep all the pads in stock in the shop. So if ever I'm short of a sanding pad, then I just whip out and nick some stock. No, I acquire some stock, which I pay for, because Mrs. Oliver doesn't like that. You're not allowed to nick the stock. So now I've got a handful of shavings here, and all I'm going to do is turn the lathe on, support my wrist, and burnish that sanding sealer. A, it dries it out, and B, it burnishes it. Mind your fingers. Proper shavings are better than this rubbish that I've got off of this bowl, but beggars can't be choosers. It was like I was begging. I had to get on my knees. There. Pro Edges should be back in Monday. We are promised heavy snow. Now with doing that, I've actually knocked out a bit of soft grain just here. Okay, I'm not going to worry about it too much, but if it was going to be a proper finished piece, then I'd probably have to recut this slightly to get rid of that. Or the other way is make a feature of it. If you've got a sandblaster, which I've got, I can put it in the sandblast cabinet and sandblast it and blow out all the soft grain, because that adds a real effect to sportive wood. Hold on, what's time? Right for time. Quick bit of spring clean. really. So let's come back to this camera. This is a bit of Spalted Order holoform. Now I don't know if you can get that to the camera so you can pick it up. Oh right, here. Let me hold that there. You see here, this is all come out. It's been in the sandblaster, so it's got a texture of the wood, so the solid wood is left behind and all the soft bit comes out, and it just adds to the piece, you know. So I quite often would do that with a bit of Spalted wood, and if I was turning this bowl for real, seeing what happened there, this would probably go in the sandblaster and I would blast out all this soft wood to add another texture to the wood. So, there we go. Now what we're going to do is take this out of the chuck. You know, that don't look completely flat in there. Let me just tidy that up. What do I do with that gouge? Just noticed a little bump on the flat area, and the jaws have got to sit squarely. I dropped my tool rest down earlier, didn't I? Let's just bring that back up. Make sure I'm coming through on centre. This is crucial to it, that this shoulder is flat, absolutely flat. That's it. Right, it's crucial that this is flat because the face of my jaws have got to sit squarely on there. If it's got a bump, then they're at a slight angle and we could be in all sorts of trouble. Uh-oh, here comes trouble. So, let's have a look. Oh, thanks very much, Paul. Very kind of you. There's something else gone in there. You look back. Right. So I've just expanded the jaws into there to make sure we're all right. Turn the speed right down. Turn the speed up. And that's running good enough there. We'll sort the face out. So, make sure that's on there nice and tight. I think we'll be alright. Be alright on the night. So now we take the screws out of our quick made face plate. 77 minutes of your life has gone. Well, I've had nearly 365 days of my life's gone that I'm not going to get back in my lockdown mode. I've got to be honest, Mike, I'd sooner watch you than sit indoors all day long, every day on lockdown. And that says something, doesn't it, really? Right, so let's get that out of there, that screw. So my screws are out. Now I just want a screwdriver, and I'll come in here under this hot melt glue and just prise this off, he says. Cool. So normally, hot melt glue, you give it a twist and off she pops. There you go. A bit more of a twist than I thought. Right. So we've twisted that off of there. That gets rid of our face plate. Just done my finger on that. Take a great chunk out of it. Caught me finger on the edge of the bowl. Was it too, like that? Hey-oh. Have a bloody lathe in a minute. Let's bring this tool rest round here and we'll face this blank off. We got plaster upstairs. Thank you very much, Andy. Hold on, sorry, I'll whip back along here. Thank you very much, Brian. That's very kind of you. I thought I'd missed something, so thanks, Mike. Thanks, Brian. Thanks for the donations. Very kind of you. Thank you. Cheers, Andy. Right. So Karen's gone to find me a little plaster. I don't want to get blood on my lathe bed. So what I'm going to do now is face this little blank off. Turn our speed down. Hit the button. Turn it up a bit. Now it's quite disconcerting when I look at that. It looks like it's oh, you didn't pull the thing off. Karen's just handed me a plaster and left the white tabs on. I'm trying to stick it on my finger thinking it's not sticking. Cheers, Duncan. I understand they're your plasters. God, proper, I've got the other finger as well. Proper whack yourself. No, it's alright. That's a minor. This is a lesser person with that injury. Right. So if you look at that, it looks quite disconcerting, doesn't it? It looks like our centre is all over the place. Reason that is I drilled a hole testing it earlier that wasn't on centre. So that's not really our centre. It just looks like it's our centre. So what we're going to do now is just bring the speed up a little bit. We're not going to go too mad here. We're up to about 600. And I'm just, yeah, can do. Just going to hit a little face cut here. Just raising the hands as I come into centre. There. I've got the back of the bevel rubbing against the timber. Pick the cut up. There. More bevel rubbed and cut there. Now what I'm doing here is I'm just picking this up and trying to chamfer this down, and you can see, well you might be able to see, might not, we've got holes in the grain here and everything. So what I want to do is get rid of that, so I'm going to cut down as a sort of chamfer to get rid of it. This is my Hamlet Craft Tools one. This is a long grind. They call it a master flute. I've changed the grind a little bit to my standard grind. I had to stop talking there. I was getting a mouth full of dust. Right, I've got rid of the holes, so I'm now sloping in a little bit. And I've got some torn grain here that I've got to sort out. I might have the rim just a bit wider on this bowl, so let's just get rid of this bit. Somewhere there. Okay, so this one was freshly sharpened. This is Hamlet again, but Glenn Lucas, same grind. And I'm just going to come in with a real fine cut. Raise the handle as I go. I'm taking virtually nothing off here. I'm just trying to sort out the torn grain. Try that. That we're doing. We're a bit torn there. So this again for this is another bit of sanding sealer into here. That's where it's weak there. It's the white wood. Thank you very much, Stuart. It's very kind of you. Thank you. Yeah. So I'll just give this a little coat of this. Speed this up a little bit. Right, so just getting into there. This is just getting rid of that trying to get rid of that torn grain. So let's get that dust out of it. It's not shavings, it's dust. Get that out of the way. Turn the speed down, get the old air dryer on. Don't turn the speed down as much as that. Just want to heat this up. Sorry? Why I'm putting sealer on it? The sealer, if you've missed earlier, what we're doing, it's thin down sanding sealer, and it's getting into the grain and acting like a glue to glue all them loose fibres together. If it's really bad, you can use thin CA, but it normally works. But you thin it down so it gets into the grain by a couple of mil, and it normally glues it together. Actually, I could just burnish that. That'd be a quicker way. Let's grab a handful of dusty shavings, get the tool rest out of the way. All I'm trying to do is generate a bit of heat to dry the burnt sanding sealer, dry it out. Now there's a bit there that it's just caught on. And my fingers, I've already done my fingers once this morning. Didn't come right out to the edge because there's a gap just there. And if I come right out to the edge with my fingers, I'll probably catch my finger and slice it. So be wary when you're burnishing wood. It's all right on nice smooth bits, but you just got to be a tad careful. Right, so now I'm going to resharpen my gouge. Not that it's blunt, but I want the best possible edge that I can have on the tool for one cut. Maybe two. One last cut, as they say. So, this is as sharp as I can get my gouge. Now what I'm going to do is a real fine cut into there, just to try and get rid of that torn grain. See if I can get a little bit more speed in there without bouncing it around. Rub the bevel, little lift. A little more lift than that. I'll keep cutting this just a fine cut. So I've got a little line in the wood, that's got it, that I don't want. Let's have a look. That wants just a chamfer. What I'm going to do now is use the wing of the gouge just finely and sort of shear scrape it. Backwards and forwards there. Just roll the wing over slightly. See if that sorts it out. Let's try that. That's got it. Yeah, that's, oh no, that's not nice there. Right, let's just see if we can get in there. Ooh. You see that? Something's happened there. The plank started spinning out of balance. So stop and check why. Firming the chuck. Make sure we haven't got a big void coming somewhere and it's about to go bang on us. Don't look like it. Right, I've got a little bit of torn grain just there that I'm trying to tidy out. I'm just going to come back in here now. Bevel rub. Lift the handle towards the lathe a little bit. I'm just trying to do a rough tight cut. On the camera you wouldn't have seen anything coming off there virtually. There's just a little mark there. Just got a little mark just here. That's got rid of the torn grain. So what I'm going to do now is just very quickly, because there's a bit of colouring, and then we'll be away. So my 240 grit just in this edge. We didn't turn the extractor on, but hey, that's got it right. That little bit of dust there is not good for you. Extractor should have been on, but I'm sort of thinking, well, we've got to get on with this. So, what we're going to do now is a bit of decoration on our Spalted Beech. So I've got some ebonising lacquer. We're just going to frame the beech. Giving it a good coat there. I'm throwing it up that way, away from the edge of the wood, so I don't get the outside of the bowl. That's it. Now, in normal circumstances, obviously you let it all dry properly, Demonstration, we use air dryers and all that sort of stuff. And I just want to dry off this ebonising lacquer. it doesn't take long. Right, that'll do for that. Back of the finger. You don't leave fingerprint in it, that's dry. Okay, so, of course all I'm doing is making a frame to highlight the sporting. I put a black frame on it. Black frame on it. But I'm going to add something to the black. This is the Montana Gold glitter paint. This is Dusty Gold. So I thought gold will go. So I've used black because of the black lines in the Spalted Beech. Not all Spalted Beech have got black lines. You can have Spalted Beech that's just whites and pinks and that. So, and always be careful of black lines in Spalted Beech because they could be really weak and the wood could just part. So now what I'm going to do is add a bit of gold to me black because the wood's gold. This is a glitter paint, glitter effect. Now normally if I'm using something like this I'd have the doors open and all that sort of stuff. But this is just for this. Right, I just want to get a little bit more gold into there. I don't want to cover the, it's a lacquer with glitter in it. In effect, that's it. And that'll look alright. So there's that one. Now, air dryer. Now obviously under normal circumstances you would just let this dry. So we're just because of the dust and the shaving sticking to it. So we're all good. Karen's been keeping an eye on things. If you've asked loads of questions and they've not been answered, that means Karen's fallen asleep and not been doing what she's supposed to be doing. Right, so we would mess around with this black and gold a little bit, normal circumstances, but we're not going to mess around with it too much now. So now we come to hollowing the bowl. So turn it on. You just got to be wary of what's going on, and I rub the back of the bevel, lean my handle forward, score my line, and then just come in to centre, so I can rub the back of my bevel, in my handle forward, forward. Keep me curve going. All I do is twist me right hip away from the lathe as I head towards centre, and I just raise my handle so I keep cutting on centre. Hey, what you've got to be careful of is not pushing the cutter too hard, because with this weak timber, all we do is break out all the grain all the time, and we don't really want to do that. So we get a little bit more speed in there. Everybody's still awake, paying attention.
Ellen Bailey's just turned
Ellen
up.
Bailey's just turned up. Ellen Bailey, what time do you call this? Eh? Nearly 12 o'clock. You've got to get up in the morning, girl. Now, I was having a thought the other day. Only essential shops are allowed to be open, aren't they? Yeah, only essential shop. So, is a flower shop essential? No. Is it essential next Saturday when it's Valentine's Day? I think so. Otherwise, every bloke that's married to someone that don't produce a bunch of flowers is likely not to get fed. So I've written to the government and said they've got to excuse flower shops for next Saturday, because next Saturday they're essential. I'm just trying to not talk with my house. Thanks very much, Pat. It's very kind of you. Trying to talk without getting a mouthful of dusty shaving, but I'm trying to get the wood away a bit quicker. Sort of forcing the cut here a little bit, which is not the way to do it.
Stuart said you can buy them from
We're not going to Tesco's shopping, it's all being delivered in because Mrs. Oliver's Irish. So that ain't gonna work. I'm not going to Tesco's. If I don't come up with a solution, I'll be Irish next week.
Turn me some.
Eh?
Ellen said you could turn me.
Ellen Bailey. You are the woman, eh? Never thought of that. Just trying to see how deep my hole is. See if I'm in it. Oh, who drilled that hole that deep? Stupid boy. Okay. Can't get any speed in the lathe without it bouncing around. Just keep twisting yourself away from the lathe. Now these cuts are a bit harder than I would normally do on a bit of rotten old spalted beech like this. I'm just trying to get this away so we can get to the finishing line. How far have I got to go? What I'm going to do is find out where my hole is finishing. Sorry? Mike's feeling sick.
Yeah, I'm going to pick that all the Valentine thing, or you go to the bottom.
That's the only reason Mike Walt's still here. He wants to see me go through the bottom. Don't let his suave Welsh tongue convince you of anything other. Right now, oh, we're nearly there for that drill hole. Right, so now I'll start back on me rim here. Just going to pick up my cut here. So we're nearly there. I just want to get rid of that eye point there. let's see where we're at with this now. We're nearly there. It's not too sad, actually. Not too sad at all. Right. So, we're just coming uphill in the middle. Why are we coming uphill in the middle? Why do you get that effect? The reason you get that effect is because when you're hollowing, if you come too far round, then you're travelling uphill. And you want it to flow. So this will be our flow cut. So I'm just going to go with a sharper gouge. I hope this one's sharper, otherwise I'm back to the sharpener. Back of the bevel. Don't really want to rub it. There. It's all about the timing. Just creeping up on that middle. Now just gonna raise the tool rest just a tad. There, and that's nice in there now. So I'm just gonna get that little centre bit. Gentle through there. Let's have a look at that. Red stop. Right. Now, we have one last cut. The grain's quite good in there actually. It's not torn, so we haven't got to mess around. But we're going to have a sharp tool, one last cut, a fine finishing cut, just to tidy up the surface of the bowl. And we will be about there. Now, if any of you are familiar with our March demos, we used to have Joe helping us. Do you remember Joe? Our son Joe. Well, blimey, he's just got up and he's walked in the workshop. So Joe's back, everybody. We've got a family turning club. You've got little Joe, who's 6'2", Mrs. Oliver, and yours truly. So we've got an Oliver wood turning demonstration. So I'm just picking up the cut now, freshly sharpened tool, real fine. I'm just trying to pick this up. That's better. Real fine. Watch me timing as we go. That one on the arm. You are? It's got a little bumpy problem here. Just a little bumpy problem there as I came through. So I just came back. Now I just want to get rid of that middle.
Mine's looking away.
And just creep up on that middle. Real slow.
Just waiting for it to go.
Yeah, we just got a bit of a bump in the bottom there. Another cut, Mike.
I'm moving. I'm moving. Still haven't got that PPE.
Oh, just one more.
No, no, no!
Ah, that's better. Right. So then what we do is we would give that a quick sand. Turn the extractor on. Didn't do that last time. It was a bit dusty, wasn't it? Quick sand, 240 grit, no more. We got no torn grain there, so that's cool. So quick blast in here with 240.
It's alright, I'm here to catch it in the throat.
I don't want to over sand it because then we can get the softer wood shrinking it back, but that will do us, I think. So there, now airline. Should use an airline in your workshop officially because you're blowing dust up, which causes a problem. Should use a vacuum cleaner. Okay, that's the proper way to do it. But if you're like me, and just whatever comes to hand. So what's happened is we've got a bit of dust on our gold lacquer, but let's take that off of the chuck there. Dusty hands, dusty everything. There we go. So round of applause time. When I come back to this camera here, I've got Joe's left the screen up. So hold on. So, okay, so there we go. Spalted Beech, over spalted. We could turn it, remount it and do something with this socket on the back, take it away completely. and make it just a foot this size, but with a bit of decoration in there. Your eye's drawn towards the decoration, so you've really got to handle. A wood turner will go, oh, you've left the socket, but the average punter wouldn't. And then with the black and the glittery gold, I don't know how you're catching. Can you see that? Is that coming up? So
Well,
you can
I've
see.
got to wait till you to turn around first.
Oh, right, you're on there. So there, we've not polished. We've not polished this up, but with this polish, with this frame, it really popped, and that was a proper scrappy old bit of wood, Most people wouldn't bother turning it, but it was just a way to show you to deal with over Spalted Beech. Had this grain of torn out in here, which we got away with. I was quite surprised, really. Then we would have sanding sealed it, thin sanding sealer, glued the grain together, or a thin CA, and then let it dry and then turned it. And this now can go back on, bit of wax, and we're there. So over Spalted Beech, little bowl. You can still add colour to Spalted Beech. That little black with a bit of glittery gold frames the colour, and the black and the gold go with the colours of the wood. So there we go. That is how to turn a bit of Spalted Beech. Thank you
very much, Martin. Thank you, Helen.
Thanks, Helen. Thanks, Martin. Very kind of you. Thank you for the donations, everybody, one and all. That is very much appreciated. So, I hope you've enjoyed your Saturday live. I've not enjoyed it as much as you because that was really dusty and I'm covered in it and I can taste it and should have had a dust mask on, all that sort of stuff. And the workshop's a mess now. It was clean, tidy.
I think they prefer it to cardboard.
Yeah, it's a bit different to cardboard, obviously. Yeah, sure is. So that's another Saturday morning out of the way. Hey, who knows? One day we might be able to go back out again into the big wide world. That would be good, wouldn't it? Hey? So I hope you've enjoyed it. Thank you all for turning up. It's very kind of you. Don't forget, if you like what you've seen, give us a thumbs up. That's good. That works for us. Thank you very much, Adrian. It's very kind of you. Thumbs up. That helps the channel. Get the thumbs up.
Please like and subscribe is what he's trying to say.
No, that was my next line, is like and subscribe and share with your friends, all that sort of stuff. It all promotes Oliver's Woodturning. So, thank you, Bob. Good, glad you enjoyed it. Cheers, Michael, Kevin, Stephen, Trevor. Glad you enjoyed it. Thanks, Alf. Thanks, Pat. Is the lathe still paint free? No, not really. Pat, the motor's gold colour now. Glittery gold. The way it should be, in my opinion. Thanks, everybody that's going. Thanks. Thanks very much, Pete. That's very kind of you. Yeah, proper wood next time. No more messing about. I've got some beautiful rippled sycamore in. We could do a highly coloured Ripper's sycamore bowl and you could see the effects of rippled sycamore. That might be a way to go. Thanks, Robert. Glad you've enjoyed it. Cheers, Gordon. Glad you found it fun. That's what it's about. The idea is that we brighten up half a day of the week or something. This lockdown drives everybody mental. Signature lathe, yes, Pat. It's got to be coloured, I think. Oh, well, I have to build one, mightn't I? A multicoloured lathe.
You've seen the state of his Bambi.
I think that might catch on. Joe's he's not known about our paint flying.
You've seen the drill.
He said, have you seen the paint of me Bambi? Well,
Look at the ceiling.
rather than pick me Bambi up, it's quite heavy. This is me drill. Yeah? Oh, let's wait for the camera. It's got a bit of paint on it. That was when we was paint frying. And it went everywhere and it's still there. Still works. Doesn't matter, does it?
It was on the ceiling across the
We got a line across the ceiling, still a line across the floor. The Bambi's covered. It's, you know, yeah. It's half the fun of it, isn't it? Morning, Colin. Glad you enjoyed it. Good to see you. Thanks, Pat. Yeah, best tip would be wear a dust mask. Definitely dealing with that sort of crap. Dust mask. Or better still, don't bother turning it. No, they make nice things. If there's enough integrity in the wood, it's well worth it. Sandblasting it might be an idea. You know, get the texture of the wood. That's quite good. Right. Thanks, Leslie. Thanks, Jason. Thanks, Nigel. Cheers, Mo. Thanks, Stephen. Glad you enjoyed it. Cheers, Bespoke. Thanks, Reg. Glad you've enjoyed your morning. Now, I don't know if my chat's frozen or everybody's packed it in. Oh, no. Cheers, Adrian. Thanks very much. Thank you all for turning up. I know it's not sort of every week. I'm going to try and do them as regular as I can. I enjoy doing them realistically. They're a bit of fun, aren't they? What else are you going to do on a Saturday morning? Cut blanks, cut wood up for blanks. Cheers, Paul. See you next time. Thanks, Ian. Cheers, Chris. Right, people. It's nearly 12 o'clock. I know there's other demos, so I am going to go. Cheers, mate. Thanks for popping by. Thanks, Hedge. Thanks, David. Cheers, Woodworker 101. Thank you all for turning up. Have a good week. Stay safe. Look after yourselves. And let's all hope we're back here. Don't know about next week's Valentine's Day. Oh, I've got to turn a rose, though, haven't I? Yeah. Let me think. Right. Thanks for watching. Thanks for coming along. Enjoy your weekends. Enjoy your week. Take care of yourselves. Stay safe. Stay strong. Thank you. Goodbye.
We've got food delivery on the 12th.
We need a quicker sign off.